everyone, it's Diabetic Danica. Kind of crazy. I have never had to miss a full day of either school or work in all of my diabetic life. In all of my 13 years living with diabetes, I have never ever had to miss a full day due to blood sugars. So you can probably see where this video is going. Yeah, this morning I was not feeling it and I was super high and I had to miss an entire day of work. So let me give you some backstory, kind of explain what happened, and then I kind of want to just talk about how it made me feel and what it's like to have that happen, just because it hasn't happened to me before and it wasn't a good feeling. So basically, it was really weird. It was a mix of things. Like last night for dinner, I was eating and I was actually running pretty low on insulin in my pump, and so I was eating and then bolusing, and I kind of bolus as I go because I don't know how much I'm going to eat, and I try to do it a little bit early, but I was eating and I was about to bolus and I was actually out of units. There wasn't enough, and so I was like, okay, I'll just quickly eat this and then I'll change out my insulin, refill my pump basically, and bolus for that food. But at exactly this time, when I was drawing up my new insulin, my sister-in-law came over. She was picking me up to go to a church event, and just in the shuffle and excitement of seeing her and everything, I forgot to bolus for that food that I'd eaten. So I filled up my pump. I finished doing that, but I just forgot to bolus for that. And then the church event was at a coffee shop. We went there, and again, caught up in the moment of talking to people, I completely didn't bolus for my coffee until I was like halfway through it probably, which isn't really that big of a deal. The coffee one, like that coffee isn't super high carb or anything, but I think that mixed with the not bolusing for all of my dinner made me spike, obviously. Totally understandable, explainable, duh. But so I spiked to like 360. I'll put the translation on the screen, which sucks, but most of the time if I just bolus, I'll come down. So I did that. I went to bed. Let's see, I was supposed to work today. I was going to get up at 5:30. I went to bed at like 12:30 and I bolused for the high. I fully expected to come down. My set and my insulin had been working great, and I went to bed. And then I think it was like an hour and a half later, my CGM alarm saying I was high. And I was like, okay. So I checked and I was pretty much the same number. I was still way, way up there and not feeling awesome. I was feeling nauseous. And I just thought that was really weird. So I figure, okay, just to be safe, I'm just going to give a shot, an injection of insulin, just in case something is wrong with my pump or my set or whatever. So I did that, fully expected to come down. I actually gave extra, more so than I needed to give, and I went back to sleep. And then in a few hours, it was time for me to get up because I didn't get a lot of sleep that night. Or this was actually last night. So I got up, I checked my blood sugar, and lo and behold, it was still in the upper 300s. And I was like, seriously? Seriously?
Seriously?
So I took a look at my CGM and I saw that my injection had brought me down. It brought me down to a little above 200. But then slowly but surely, it just crept right back up to that upper line where it had been. And so this got me thinking that maybe my injection kind of worked, but maybe my pump set had gone bad, and so all that not getting basal over time had made me slowly climb again. So at this point, I have about an hour until I have to leave for work. I am super nauseous, super weak, and feeling absolutely horrible. So the first thing I do is I run downstairs, I get a fresh vial of insulin out of the fridge, just in case it's the insulin, even though the insulin in my pump is actually very, very new. And the vial I had just opened actually, not that long ago, maybe like a week or so ago. But anyway, just in case, I opened a brand new vial and I injected again. This time I injected, I think I was supposed to give like 4.45 and I gave 6 units. And then I also changed my set in my pump and I gave another unit through my pump just for good luck. Because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I am so insulin resistant right now. This is crazy. And I just really had to get it down, and I thought for sure I'd be at least on the downward angle by the time I had to leave for work. And so I did all that. I grabbed a huge cup of water and I drank that. I drank 2 of those actually. And I started to get ready for my day. And I have never felt this bad from a high blood sugar. Like, I don't think I was in DKA, but I think I was like pre-DKA probably, because like I said, was super nauseous. I didn't throw up, but not to be gross, but did a couple dry heaves, and I just felt nauseous constantly. Actually, all night when I was sleeping, I kept waking up feeling nauseous, which I thought was weird. But anyway, so I was feeling that, and then I couldn't even stand at the mirror to get ready. I was trying to stand, and I was just feeling so weak, so I brought a stool in, and I was literally just putting up my hair in this bun, and my arms were getting so sore and so tired so fast, and I was like, oh crap, like, I can't work like this. I can't do my on my feet nursing job for 12 hours this way. But I figured, of course it's going to come down. Like, I did everything I needed to do to bring it down. But 6:30 rolled around and I was still kind of staying. I didn't see a down arrow on my CGM, and I was like, that's what I was kind of hoping to see. And it was slowly but surely, like, the numbers of my CGM were coming down, but there was no actual down arrow, so it was a very gradual decrease. I think I was in like the 290s or something at this point and still not feeling good. So I felt horrible about it, but I had to call in. I just literally couldn't even stand at the mirror, let alone work. So you're supposed to call in sick by 5 a.m. for my job. So I was way late, but like I said, I was convinced that I would have been able to make it. So I explained everything on the phone, and they were nice about it, but I just said, really all I need is like 2 hours. I just need 2 hours to let the insulin work and get my blood sugar down so I'm feeling good. And so they agreed, and it was fine. Unfortunately, they had to call in the call-on nurse, which absolutely sucks. I feel so bad about that. So I went back to sleep, and I drank more water, went back to sleep, made sure my blood sugar was coming down at this point. There was like a down arrow. And I woke up to a text saying, management thinks that you should just take the whole day. They want you to rest and recover, and that way you'll be fresh for tomorrow. And for some reason, having to miss an entire day of work for a blood sugar reason, it just makes you feel so bad. Like, even though I know it's not my fault, like, yeah, I made a couple mistakes early on in the night, but I fully did everything I had to do, which under normal circumstances, it would have come down. I was doing everything I could to fix it, and I know it's not my fault, but I still get this feeling of just guilt and like feeling like you shouldn't have to miss school or work for a blood sugar thing. Like, I don't know, for some reason that's just in my head that shouldn't happen, and I don't know, I guess I just felt like I failed. And that's not correct. Like, that's not a right feeling, and I know that. I know it's not my fault. I know that even when you do everything you can do, diabetes can still throw you a curveball, and you can still get wacky blood sugars, and there are a billion things that affect blood sugar, and I am balancing my diabetes management with my social life, with my work life, my spiritual life, my adult taking care of my house errands and responsibilities life, and you can only do what you can do. And I did my best, and that was what I was left with. And I just realized that's like a really hard pill to swallow, and I don't know if every chronic illness is like this or not, but I feel like especially with diabetes, there's a lot of blame and guilt layered on top, and it's not necessarily by anyone in particular. I think it's a societal thing. I think that because there's this idea of diabetes being a disease that you should be able to control, and that, if you have controlled diabetes, your blood sugars are probably fine all the time. I don't know what the perception is, but I consider myself to have controlled diabetes, but it doesn't mean that there will be days where everything goes to crap. Like, my A1C is good. On my little diagnosis, it says controlled type 1 diabetes, but it's honestly never fully possible. Like, I think people think that it is, and it's not. So I think that was part of it too, just knowing that, I don't know, I just feel like some of my coworkers probably felt like, why didn't she prevent this? She could have done better. Like, why didn't she stop this from happening, it's her fault. Like, I don't know if they were thinking that, and maybe that's my own thing, like putting my thoughts on them. But I feel like in diabetes as a whole, I've seen a lot of judgment in the medical community. If their blood sugars are out of whack, or if they're eating something that they feel like they shouldn't be eating, they will immediately go to judgment, and it just hurts. And even though I know deep down it's not my fault, I tried my best, everything I was doing should have brought my blood sugar down, it didn't, and that's not my fault. So anyway, this was just a big learning experience for me to have something like this happen, where diabetes really punched me and made me miss a day of work and feel defeated and feel like a failure, but know and tell myself over and over again that that's not the case, it's not true, and this is a disease, this is a chronic illness, and not everything can always be under your control. So as long as you're trying your best and working hard, that's all you can ask, and sometimes there'll be bumps in the road. So yeah, so I'm trying to change my mindset about all of this. I am sure there are millions of you out there who have had to miss a day of school or work because of diabetes, and it's not that big of a deal, and it should be expected, I guess, but it's just hard when for so long I've been able to do everything, and this one day I wasn't able to, and it just sucks. But to be fair, I believe I could have gone in after a couple of hours, but they wanted me to rest, which I totally get, so it's fine. So yeah, that is pretty much my thoughts on this. Let me know if you've ever experienced this and kind of what emotions went into that, because whether we like it or not, diabetes is very much a psychological, emotional disease, and it's our life, and so a lot of the time it can affect our mood. And I'm still not really sure why I was so insulin resistant, honestly, because when I took the set out, it looked perfectly fine. Like I said, my insulin was pretty fresh, and I was just over bolusing. Oh, I also forgot to say, when I was like in the 200s after being high, and I was already staying home from work and everything, it was like 2 hours after I'd gone back to bed, I was like 290 or something, and I gave a full correction through my pump, and then I gave a full correction through an injection, and it still only brought me down to like 67, which is crazy. I literally double dosed, and I didn't drop like a rock, like I barely went low. So anyway, for some reason today and yesterday I'm just really resistant, and I don't know why. My mom thinks maybe I had a little stomach bug or something, and my immune system was so busy fighting that off that it couldn't deal with all of the blood sugar stuff, which is totally possible. Like, I did have a couple tummy issues yesterday in general, but it's possible that my body was busy fighting something off, which made me spike and not come down. But anyway, that's not the point of this video. I just wanted to explain all that and kind of talk about the emotions that go behind when you feel like you fail with diabetes, because honestly, you never fail with diabetes. My mom is the best, and I was talking to her on the phone, and she said, as long as you keep trying and keep fighting, you're never a failure. So it's not that winners don't ever fail, it's that when they do fail, they keep trying and they get back up again. So I know you can all be winners today, and I'm gonna be a winner, and yeah, weird day, but here we go. And I wanted to make this video the very day it happened, so all my ideas and emotions would be fresh. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I make new videos about diabetes all the time. Please leave a comment down below if you've experienced this, and you can also follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. The first one, Facebook, is Diabetic Danica. The rest are D. Marie is me. And don't forget to share with your friends if you think they could benefit from this video. Thanks for watching. Bye. La da 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 dee. You're not breaking me. La dee da da da.